Hey everybody, Marty here alongside Nathan Vella from Capy Games. Nathan, how's it going?
Going super awesome.
Yeah, super awesome.
Oh yeah,
super time awesome.
Super. I don't even know if that works.
I don't think that makes any sense. But yeah, we're here with Super Time Force. This is part 2 of our video series. Check out part 1 if you didn't see it. We sort of intro the game, tell you you know what it's about, where its kind of core pillars came from, and now we're gonna hop around to some different areas. We're gonna see the ship first, right?
Yeah, for sure. So. You get to travel through 6 different time periods, from the future to the way past to some weird ones like you know, kind of post-apocalyptic time period, and so on. And you do all of this from the bridge of the space bus. The Super Time Force live on the space bus. You can see on the as Ken kind of cycles through it, there's like the living quarters. These are the globes that actually power your time travel, and those are the time shards, which actually let you slow down time.
Can we talk about this dude chilling on the left?
Yeah, he might be the raddest, baddest dino in video games.
Holy crap!
He's his name is Zachosaurus. He was wearing sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt, and rides a skateboard.
Of course. I mean, in order to be rad, you need to ride a skateboard.
Yeah.
That's the one thing Turok the dinosaur hunter was missing.
Yeah, no mohawk.
Yeah.
No sunglasses.
What's this room? This is your armory?
Yeah, this is kind of your storage base, so you get to see the weapons that all of the characters have. You also kind of get to see the things that they've picked up throughout time.
Okay.
And the Space Bus is kind of the home for Super Time Force.
Sure.
And as you collect characters and save characters, they'll start appearing on the Space Bus. They might show up fixing some machines, or they might end up hanging out in bed, reading a comic book. But from the bridge of the Space Bus, you can dive into any of the time periods. And right off the bat, we open it all up. So you actually get to Mega Man style pick where you go. There's no kind of preset.
Yeah.
So you can decide some levels might be a little bit easier than others, and some levels might be better with certain characters than others.
That you haven't unlocked yet.
Yeah. But we're going to dive into the Atlantis time period, which we haven't ever shown before. This is the first time anybody will get a chance to see it. Yeah. And so basically, the Super Time Force has decided that the fact that Atlantis disappeared off the coast of Florida, which nobody actually knew that Atlantis was off the coast of Florida, but they figured it out. Yeah, they figured it out. And Commander Rapitsky, who's in charge of the Super Time Force, has decided that it's probably a good thing to go back and save Atlantis.
Okay.
And so each world has 4 different levels.
Okay.
And so we're going to hop right through to the second level of Atlantis and show you what Atlantis is all about.
I'm excited.
In this kind of time period, Atlantis is actually kind of a radical theme park.
Okay.
Instead of this mythical city that you thought it was.
Yeah.
And so you're going back to try to save it from the evil Dr. Infinity, who's kind of the antagonist, and his Blaumbot army.
What's a Blaumbot?
A Blaumbot is basically a really stupid name that we came up with for the evil robots in the game. They're kind of the bad guys. You don't want to mess with them.
Sure. So is Zachosaurus so rad that he's vomiting on characters?
Yeah, he actually he does the Jurassic Park style acid barf, and it does splash damage. And that if enemies walk into his fluorescent barf, he will actually do damage on them.
I like
as
it.
well.
That could make every enemy in the game like Newman from Seinfeld.
Yeah. That's actually a big part of the goal of the game is to have as much Newman as possible. And there are certain parts in the game where you're going to end up against a really challenging enemy, and you're going to have to figure out how to either bring in a bunch of different characters, or if you're going to choose to use a special one. And right there, Ken actually killed the enemy fast enough that he saved Zachosaurus.
That's awesome.
So he's actually now both Jeff Leopard, the Rocket Man, and Zachosaurus at the same time. So he's both shooting crazy rockets and
chomping and acid and everything.
Yeah, and acid barfing all at the same time.
So we have the. Can we talk a little bit about we have the time at the top, as well as what I'm assuming is a life count.
Yeah, the time at the top is you can only exist. You're only allowed to be in any level for a given amount of time.
Okay.
You're kind of, because it takes so much energy to travel all the way back and to keep rewinding. It's 60 seconds, but you can actually collect clocks that are going to add to your total time.
Nice.
So you actually need to find those to make sure you can get through each level in the right amount of time. And what's going to happen, a big challenge in the game is that it's really hard to get through levels in that amount of time. So you need to figure out how to use your time travel to optimize and actually, come back and do things a little bit faster and a little bit quicker. So Ken spent all this time down here.
Yeah, he was lollygagging.
Yeah, he was totally lollygagging around. But he might actually want to, go and save Dolphin Lundgren.
Okay, that's this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Dr.
so
Dolphin Lundgren.
Dolphin Lundgren is the character that you saved in the Atlantis time period, and he's badass dolphin with a giant machine gun.
Yep. Okay. That's
Which is pretty important.
so a saved character stays saved even when you rewind time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you need to complete the level in order to actually
have
save
it for the rest. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And yeah, so there's a playing with the different characters and saving the different characters is a super important part of the game. The more characters that you have, the more opportunities you have to actually pick the right character for the right moment. And right there, Kenneth actually hit a time shard, which is going to slow down time.
Oh, nice.
And give you a chance to kind of pick off your enemies as you go a little bit easier.
So Dolphin Lundgren, what's his sort of unique ability?
So he has his regular attack, which is like the sonic burst.
Okay.
And he also has a giant-ass machine gun.
Yeah.
So he's another one of the heavy weapon style guys, because obviously a dolphin would be a heavy weapon character. And that's all the characters in the game are going to be very different. They're going to play a little bit differently, like characters that can actually shoot through walls.
Yeah.
And picking characters is for the high level of play, for the people who are going to try to do the fastest runs or the cleanest runs.
Yeah.
Picking the right character for the right moment is super important.
That's awesome. So would it be possible for me to get through the game and not have unlocked all the characters?
Yeah, you can play with just the core team, really. You could play the entire game with just a single character if you want to.
I don't want to do that. I need dolphins and dinosaurs in my life.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, personally, it's quite important to me as well. And the game
God,
does have
happening?
boss battles, and it also has some mini boss battles as well. So you're gonna right now be fighting a giant squid octopus or squid.
I'm gonna be honest. This place seems like a really dangerous theme park.
It's it's still pretty cool. So you want to save it, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, that's the time shard that makes everything slow down.
Yep. So now Ken can actually choose how
Nice.
the right opportunities to pick off enemies, and it's a little bit easier when time is in slow mo.
Yeah.
But you'll also notice that the time is running really short. So Ken's actually gonna have to figure out do I need to go back and optimize, or is 20 seconds enough time for me to kill this enemy with a few lives?
Yeah.
And yeah, the counter beside the time, the 25 right now, that is it's a life counter, but it's also a rewind counter, because you can press the B button at any time to choose the timeout. You don't have to die to timeout. You can use timeouts very strategically.
Yeah.
So timing out on purpose will actually also take one of your timeout counters. So it is lives, and the way that we kind of equate it is that pressing B to timeout is also just purposely dying.
Yeah.
But it's really more about using it strategically.
Yeah. What are the so we have are those the time shards on the right, the little yellow triangles?
The little yellow triangles are glorbs, or glowing orbs.
Sorry.
Short form for glorbs.
Yep.
They're what actually power time, and if you collect them, you actually get an extra rewind as well.
Oh, nice.
So they'll actually help kind of beef up your stock of characters that you can use in a level.
Nice.
God, and then there's also the time shards as well. And collecting all of them is what gets you badges.
Sure.
Getting badges is what unlocks characters, and also contributes to the whole completionist element of the game.
Yeah. What are the little purple things? 2 or 3.
The little purple things?
Is that purple? Is that pink?
Yeah,
I'm a little colorblind.
it's pinky purple.
Pinky purple.
Yeah, magenta.
Yeah.
Fuchsia.
Whoa. You're a man who knows his color palettes.
Yeah, those are the time shards that you've collected, and those are how you actually enter the slowdown mode that'll let you.
Gotcha.
Basically you can kind of do bullet hell type shmup style stuff during the timeout mode.
So I just realized that he had a plastic soda ring around his neck.
Yeah.
And now I feel really bad that Ken murdered him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to do him a favor,
That's
no matter
true.
his misery, right?
That's how you roll in. And what was this? Is it like Atlantis? It was just legit called Atlantis?
It's legit called Atlantis.
I like this.
Yeah. And at the end of every level, you actually get a chance to watch how you fared in the level.
Oh, nice.
Kind of a la Meat Boy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a chance to listen to some really upbeat music and see how well you did.
Who did the score for this game?
The score is 6955, our friend, amazing chiptune artist. Not super well known in the chiptune scene because he's a little bit quiet, but he's actually one of the guys that has been around the longest.
Okay, he's OG.
He is super OG.
Yeah.
He was one of the first guys that was hacking together Game Boys and soldering wires.
That's
Spent a lot of time making chiptunes in Japan with a bunch of our friends, and he's a really close friend of the studio, has been for a long time. And when we first started making the game, it took us all of 5 seconds to kind of be like, hey, Mr. 6955. Yeah, and I would really advise everyone to go check out his stuff at 6955.bandcamp.com, because it's some of my favorite chiptune music.
That's awesome.
And the soundtrack is monstrous. There's a whole lot of levels in the game, all with original tracks, tons of cutscene music, tons of boss music. It's pretty bananas, and there's a lot of jokey, ridiculous stuff.
Sure,
as well.
sure. Yeah, well, you guys know how to pick, certainly know how to pick people who compose your games. So.
That's
yeah.
we love working with our friends, and it just so happens we have a really talented.
You have really talented friends. You guys have a lot more talented friends than I do. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's actually mostly Chris.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris Piotrowski, our creative director, is a magnet for talented people.
He's
so.
a good man. Good
Yeah.
man. Yes, that was Super Time Force. We're going to have a lot more on the game in the upcoming days. So, yeah, for everything else, Capy and Super Time Force, stay here on IGN.